So, got any people I can reach out to? Relatives, friends that can help you out?
Probably not. Like, what would that be? Hey, you want to take care of a dude you haven't seen for 30 years?
It's gotta be somebody you can call.
I tortured people. Like actual torture.
It wasn't you. It was Godolka.
Yeah, sure felt like me. You would have been so proud of Andre. Sorry, I don't want to fuck you up. Like, I just thought you'd want to know that.
Tell me.
Hey, panelers, welcome back to the show. I'm Mark.
And I'm Steve.
And this podcast, and yes, I'm sorry, it's a new year. We told you we'd be back after the new year. And with this particular podcast, this episode, we are going to finalize Gen V Season 2. We only had 2 more episodes, and we're going to do that in one episode.
It's only been 2 months.
About that. Literally, almost.
It's good. Life happens.
A month and a half. Well, literally within a month, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, it was good. We're good.
Yeah, even though the show ended in October, but it kind of gears you up. So if you're not familiar with everything that's going on, they'll slowly ease you into the boys when that does come out. So you have a little bit more to listen to or have fun with and build up your thoughts when the boys comes in for its series finale at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So in this particular episode of the podcast, we're covering Gen V Season 2, episodes 7 and 8. 7 is entitled Hell Week, and episode 8 is entitled Trojan.
Not the USC, not USC or the condoms, just Trojan.
Yes. But if you think about it, the episode, and we'll get into it, it kind of resembles kind of like a Trojan horse.
Sure. I guess I guess maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
the title was a little.
They were all concealed in.
Oh, you're right. I forgot. You're right. Okay, we'll get to that. You're right. Okay, now I got you. I see what now I figured out what it's referring to. Okay, I don't know why I didn't figure that out until just now. But all right, well, let's. The synopsis. As we're going to be talking about these episodes, we're going to cover both of them together. We'll try to keep them semi. What's that word I'm searching for? Like chronological, but I'm sure things are going to bleed in because there's things that we find out in the second episode that I had questions about in the 7th episode that we're going to find out in the 8th episode. And so I'm sure we'll tie them all together.
And synopsis it works so far. It's literally this, because you were saying the last podcast, it's like, you liked how we were doing it 2 at a time because they kind of bleed into each other.
They did.
It works out.
They did. And these 2 are good as good as well. 6 kind of bled right into 7. And then 7 goes into 8. So yeah, it's really, they went together. They went together really well. So the synopsis for episode 7, Hell Week, it's the action-packed penultimate episode where the Guardians confront the reality of Thomas Godolkin controlling Cypher, who is revealed to be a weak, manipulated man named Doug, leading to intense confrontations, mind games, and revelations about the true extent of Vought's manipulation and Marie's growing power as she tries to heal the captive Godolkin to stop Cypher. That's a spoiler-full synopsis right there.
It is spoilerful, and it's a spoiler-full podcast. So.
Exactly. So it's not, and for a show that ended a couple months ago, that's fine. Episode 8, obviously entitled Trojan, is Marie and her friends confront the true villain, Thomas Godolkin, who plans to cull the superior to create a new generation of god-tier soups, culminating in Marie killing. This is just totally spoilerful. Which culminating in Marie killing him and bridging the gap to the boys' final season as the crew becomes the crew becomes key players in stopping Homelander. That's those are spoilerful synopsis, really, for sure. They
are definitely full,
no doubt about it. So
that will be in the notes, everybody, when you see it. It's a spoiler full. So
absolutely. Like I said, this ended 2 months ago. So if you haven't watched these episodes already, what are you doing? Why are you listening to this if you haven't watched the episodes?
Or they're watching it for the first time and then listening to us, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I thought the same thing.
Hopefully you're not listening to this. Like, hopefully you've watched both of the episodes already. Probably multiple
You'd be
times
surprised. I still have yet to watch Wednesday, finalize the show Wednesday.
but we didn't podcast about Wednesday, so
I
it's
know
not
that,
like,
but even still, I'm one of those people. But if I listen to a podcast, I'm going to be like, whoa, it's like,
you just got to watch yourself. If you, I watched, it was a while ago, but it's been, the next season that's coming out pretty soon. That's a good one too. It's a good show. I like Wednesday. I like it.
Awesome. So initial thoughts. What did you like about episode 7? Did you have any highlights, or because we're just going to go straight into it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, both these episodes are really great, and there's some things that are confirmed in these episodes, and there's things that like the fact that we watched the show so long after it ended, there were certain things that I think we suspected. We've talked about this, that there were certain things that people figured out, and the creators were a little not happy that people were able to figure it out. But I mean, you were dropping breadcrumbs through the whole thing, So when the reveal comes, there was a couple of moments watching it for the first time that I really like. When it got to the end of episode 7 and the reveal of Godolkin, I really wasn't. It wasn't a big surprise for him to be the bad guy. It wasn't. It didn't surprise me at all that was the wrong move for Marie to make. But I thought it was great. I thought the answers we got were really good in episode 7, and plus as we go into episode 8, those answers and those things that come in and the cameos in episode 8 that are going to lead us, it's all setting up for the boys.
It is.
I was really pleased. I was pleased at the way they, like you said, the way they went out, the way they came together. I will admit, I took a break because I watched the episodes a couple of weeks ago, and then we took a little break because life gets in the way. And so when I
holidays
too, and the holidays came in. When I started watching episode 7 this morning or this afternoon, it surprised me how quickly it started after 6 ended. There wasn't much of a jump there. So I was really pleased by that. And then I remembered enough about the ending of 6, and plus the previously on really helped me remember, this is where we're at in the story, So I thought that was cool. But there are some things, and we'll get into it as we talk about, but there was a lot of things that happened in 7 that really bleed right into 8 that I was very pleased about. I'm pleased the way they ended the season. I thought it was really great. And I think this is like, if they announced they're not going to do another Gen V season since the boys are ending. Also, I don't know what the future is for these series. We know there's some prequel stuff coming out that these characters probably won't play into. But I think we're definitely setting up for a huge final season of The Boys, and I can't wait to see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
all the spoilers we've had of cast releases and people who are supposed to be in this final season of The Boys is going to be great. So I'm looking forward to it.
Same here. I just love how it started, and I just love how it starts at the point where Marie takes Kate and they go off on their little mission to go to Cypher's house, and everybody wakes up in the middle of the night going, where is, like, Annabeth wakes up and has this dream, has to go, and then she goes and wakes up Jordan turns from girl to boy real quick and goes, what? As a defense mechanism. And then they kind of switch back, and then obviously they're going to go, they knew exactly what they were doing. And the funny part is that Marie brought Kate because she didn't want her to spill the beans of what she was
Yeah. I
doing.
thought that was really interesting the way they played that out, and especially Kate just pleading for her to fix her, and Marie still not trusting her, which I thought was a little bit. And that plays. It's going to play into 8 as well as we
Yes.
continue to see. When they meet with Polarity in 7, and even Polarity is trying to convince Marie to fix Kate, and Marie won't do it because she just doesn't trust Kate. She can't.
Yeah.
She's like, I
Yeah.
can't trust you, even though you're telling me you've changed, until I see that you've changed. And we'll get more into this when we get to 8, because it really comes into episode 8. But
It literally comes into that one scene at that point too, when they see Cypher, he tells her everything about what's going on, where Cypher is, who the old man possibly is, and we all know, obviously, through it's like, oh, okay. So, and then Cypher starts convulsing. Polarity starts convulsing. Sorry, and she winds up healing him. He goes,
I thought that was
a clarity. There's no more pain. He doesn't have anything that Andre had too at that point too, and his powers are still sustained.
Yeah, and it only took her a few seconds, and as far as we can tell, her healing of Polarity gave him like complete healing. Again, we won't know that until episode 8. But from what we understand, as talking about these 2 episodes together, we know that in episode 8, it's going to be, Sister Sage is going to notice that his trembling is gone, and so we're going to see that his healing is complete, and that's why it is a little confusing. But it also comes back to just the fact that Marie, she doesn't trust Kate. And even though, and it's funny that Marie keeps saying that she doesn't know if she can heal Kate, which I think is I think that's bad writing, because I really think Marie would have or could have admitted to her, no, I could fix you, but I'm not going to, because I don't trust you. And that's basically what she's saying, even though she's saying, I'm not sure if I can fix you, but she just by, almost accident, she fixed Polarity. Without even really thinking about it, it seemed like it was just all of a sudden she's concentrating on him, and he suddenly goes, like you said, he just had this epiphany that he's healed. And so we know that she could heal Kate. And so I really wanted that to be written more into the scene of her saying, like, she does tell Kate that she doesn't trust her, but I really wanted to hear Marie admit, no, I could fix you, but I'm not going to. And that didn't really happen. So,
yeah. There were some things that it kind of felt forced, but you kind of accepted it.
yeah. Like I said, it's fine, because we know. I mean, looking back on it now, we know how it's going to end in the next episode. So we know that eventually she is going to give in, and she's going to heal Kate. But at the same time, still, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of like, I wanted that moment where she just looked, that defiant moment, and maybe it wouldn't have been true to the character for her. I don't know.
You'll laugh at this. This is what I have in my notes, and this is as I was going. And I did my rewatch earlier today, but I only watched it after we finished up the last time before the holidays. And the one thing I said in my notes, exactly as I wrote them, it seems Cypher and the old man had mind swaps that had happened. I think that was what was going on from what he was mumbling to himself before letting loose on the old man, whacking him.
Yeah, that's a little strange that especially and it does happen in this episode where she heals Godolkin's body, and so every time it's a weird moment there, because the same thing in the last episode, right, when he's slapping him and calling him a dirty dumpster baby. You're doing that to. That's Godolkin.
That's literally doing to himself through Cypher. Yes.
Yeah. There's a weird psychological thing going on there that I'm not sure.
Which a lot of you comic book readers will know if you read the Dan Slott Spider-Man issues of the Dying Wish storyline in I say Amazing Spider-Man number 700, came out around 2012. Where Doc Ock and Spider-Man switch bodies. And Ock has to turn into a superhero, like, as Spider-Man and Peter Parker, and do all these things. And then Peter Parker's stuck in Ock's body, and it's hell. And it's kind of like what comes out within these two episodes. If we hear it through, spoilers, Doug's voice, or Doug's perception, as we find out later on, that he was taken, and it was almost, he was being puppeted. But
and that's what
didn't feel everything that was going on within that body, though, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Like I said, it's an interesting psychology. It's like it's similar to, I just been rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and in the body swap version of that,
Faith and Buffy,
Buffy, there's a moment where Faith as Buffy is beating up Faith's body, and that's what I kind of took it as. Is it was that's the psychological element there, of that he doesn't like that he
hates himself.
He hates himself. Exactly. That's it.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's great at the very end. And it's one of those things that the moment when she starts to heal him, towards the end of the episode, when she starts before that, that fight between Polarity and Cypher is just brutal. And then when Jordan and Sam and Greg, when they all come in and join the fight, but it was great to see as Cypher in the Hamish Linkletter body is manipulating all the different people, jumping from one body to the next, to the next, and that and back and forth. And that fight,
it's the final scene, everybody, from episode 8. You're talking about.
No, I'm talking about episode 7, when it's in Cypher's body, not in Godolkin's body. This is Godolkin in Doug's body. When he's fighting
I have to go ahead to my notes to read that. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Because that's when they're fighting at the end there. Because remember, you see that moment. You can see the moment on Hamish Linkletter's. I'm going to use the actor's name because you can see the moment on Hamish Linkletter's face. You can see, and it's great face acting by Hamish Linkletter. You can see the moment when Godolkin leaves his body, because his face kind of goes slack, and then Polarity throws him against the wall. Because at that moment he's lost control of all of them, because he's back in his own body. He's in Thomas Godolkin's body now, and so he's no longer he's now Doug. He's Doug again.
He's Doug. You
get that moment at the end of the episode when Doug is pleading with them for his life, and we don't get the actual story until the next episode of what happened. But you can tell they're all looking at him, and they realize that this is just a puppet, that he's been puppeted by Godolkin
for 30 years.
For 30 years. Yeah, we find out in the next episode it's been 30 years. But I just love that moment, because it's also the moment when you see when Marie collapses and the Thomas Godolkin stands up. And I had it in my notes. It's funny because I had to edit my notes a little bit, because I had it in my notes where I said, did she make him young, or was he always young because of the compound V that was in his body? He was just burned. Lo and behold, the compound V, because we find out in the next episode he's not aging. Yeah. He's not aging because he has
the same thing as Soldier Boy and Stormfront.
Right.
And that's why he never aged.
Right. And that's why he wasn't aging. He didn't age. So when she healed him, he went back to looking the young way he looked in 1967.
The way he's supposed to, because if he didn't burn, or and it also has to do with, because if you look at the scene, it's at the very beginning of episode 8 when we have a flashback in that. And I know we're going back and forth, listeners, but literally you see Godolkin before the credits come up of saying, Gen V season 2, blah, blah, blah. He shoots himself with the serum,
and then he gets burned. Right.
But you don't see, it's before he actually gets burned. You could see things happening in his face, as if the serum is doing it to him. So whatever she did, she corrected. So you could tell something's going on with what Marie could do and heal people completely. And it was something that happens off scene on episode 8 that we'll get into regarding somebody. But one other detail from this particular episode that I found interesting was Sam meeting up with his brothers because he had to go back to the campus.
Yeah.
and he has Emma in his pocket, and she's like, "Don't be a perv, don't look at me." And he puts her behind the tree with her clothes, and he's like trying to cover his eyes, but the brother's like, "You're not with it with the pledging and blah blah blah." And then he's got I got pledge Hemmel, and he's
Hempel,
like,
yeah.
Hempel
Comes out of the guy's butt. Yeah, it comes out of the
and
other guy's butt.
you can see the chains coming out of his butt, and you're like, "What's going on here?" And he pull a brother out of his butt, and I'm like, "Oh no, this is foreshadowing for the next episode."
Yeah, and that's the thing. I had totally forgotten about the end of episode 8 of when that happens. So it didn't dawn on me that they were foreshadowing what was going to happen. In the next episode with that.
I thought it was just like, okay, them being extreme as they usually do.
Exactly.
And by that time, when you see them all there and you see Hempel there, you're like, oh, I already know what's going to happen now.
Yeah. So it was kind of, that was kind of cool that, and then of course we get that brutal ending when Godolkin comes out onto the quad and he meets Hempel. And he knows who Hempel is because he's been in Dean Cypher's body. And so he knows who Hempel is. And Hempel says, "Oh, my power is, I can change my feet into hands." And basically all it is I make my big toe opposable thumbs. And he says, "Your power is useless," and then makes him kill himself.
Yeah, Hempel was taken out of the kid, though. That's what I got mixed up with everybody.
He and that's foreshadowing for what's going to happen at the end of 8. But like I said, this is in my notes. Is this the killing of Hempel by Godolkin is just brutal, and it is. You get to see the villainous side of him, and then of course that jaunty Disney fairy tale song happening there at the end as he's walking off and the guy is choking himself. It was just horrible.
And you could see what Godolkin's plan is because he sees and he states that Hempel was bottom 10% of all he wants in his godlike soups. And he goes, "I want gods to walk the earth and not circus freaks." And that's why he has him do what he does. And then it's his way. It's like you already know he's going to vet these kids in the school to get what he wants.
Yeah, but
which is what Cypher had already disposed.
We already knew. We knew that was kind of what was happening. Yeah, he already talked about he's going to be culling the herd and all that kind of stuff. He's just now doing it in his own body instead of in Doug's body. And it's interesting too because I like that you brought that up because that again foreshadows the end of episode 8 when all of the supposedly non-powered heroes are the ones who come together to basically take him down. The girl with the hair ties him up at the end of 8. And then the girl who can only, switch powers with somebody for 60 seconds, she takes his power. All that stuff is all those circus freak characters that he's talking about wanting to get rid of.
And they overcome and we're able to do something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we're now bleeding into 8, but I think
it literally, it's like, to fast forward and give you a glimpse of what we'll talk about, the ending of episode 8 with the final battle just reminds you of Infinity War with all the weirdest X-Men mutants that you could think of that could come into fruition to protect everybody.
Yeah.
And it works out. And as we get into 8, it's like I already spoke about the flashback, him taking the V1 juice, and then we move into with Jessica, with Sage, and they're in the bed, and Godolkin basically indulging in everything because he even states when he was within Doug, felt like a condom. He couldn't feel, he couldn't taste, he couldn't do anything. And you start to realize what he was going through for all these years.
Yeah, that he was controlling him. He was as puppeteering them, he was controlling them, but he wasn't feeling what they were feeling.
Correct.
And so now that's why he makes that comment about I'm going to go pee in a toilet, not in a
And
diaper.
hold my penis.
And
Right
yeah,
there.
and he's just like he's trying to he's tasting all the different foods and stuff. So yeah, it's I hadn't even thought about that until you brought it up, but you're right. That's what he meant by that. I didn't understand when he made that comment, but you're right. That's what he meant is he was controlling Dean Cipher, but he couldn't couldn't feel what he felt. That now makes sense of why all Dean Cipher would drink would be those bland milkshakes, because that's what his actual body was drinking. And so that's the control he had over Doug, and we get
Correct.
that story about Doug, about him being fired from the Blockbuster. The story that he talks about going to the old doctor's house and the guy asking him all
that
these
was
questions.
the first puppet that Godolkin had.
Yeah.
And then he had Doug puppeteering Doug to kill the doctor because he was so old to take care of Godolkin at that point. And then he was like 18 or something at the time, working for Blockbuster. He owned a cat. And what else did he say? I always forget.
I've got it in my notes. I mean, I don't have all of it in my notes, but I just know it was 1996. He went there to like repair a VCR because he'd been fired from Blockbuster. So he was doing some sort of odd jobs is what it seems like, but I did get from that, not all the specific things about his life, but that his parents were gone. He basically had no life. He didn't have anybody who cared about him. And that's the person that Godolkin was looking for, because that's the person that he needed to take over. He needed to take over someone who had no life that no one would miss.
Yep. And through the doctor, he was literally interrogating him to get all this information out of him, to realize it's like, oh, I could get rid of this old guy that's been taking care of me for the past
and the guilt,
30 years,
the guilt he felt, the guilt he felt over what he had done, over killing the doctor, over torturing them, all the things, the guilt that again, Hamish Linklater just played it really, really well.
He's a really good actor, very underrated. I really did appreciate him in this. He knows how to play evil, and he definitely knows how to play sympathetic.
I love that conversation. I love that conversation he has with Polarity in the car.
Yeah, that's
telling
my
him
next one up.
about Andre, and just it was just
how he
great.
pissed in Godolkin's coffee and he never even realized it. And how did he get away with that? And he put a smile to Polarity's face, but then at the ultimate moment, it's like a sword just comes through the car, killing Doug. And that was Polarity trying to take Doug to a hospital. A friend of his had a White Plains.
Black Noir being in the back seat.
Black Noir Part 2, because the real Black Noir is no more. So we do find that out. But the funny part with that was the selfie with the Black Noir Part 2 in front of Polarity with the deuces up.
I love. And then later in the episode, we get the conversation. We get him in the cell with Polarity, and he's talking to him about the movies that he made and the plot holes in his movies. And I just love that moment when Polarity stops and goes, "So you can talk now?"
Yeah, exactly. Because he thought he was the original one. So he was like,
So I thought that was all some good comic relief right in there that we got. And again, I had totally forgotten about that because it'd been a couple of weeks since I watched these episodes until today when I rewatched them. So I'd totally forgotten about that. So when the sword came through the seat, I was like, oh, like I think I jumped in my chair, because I was totally surprised by that. But it was good. And then to see that, and then later when Sister Sage comes in and sends Black Noir out. And then leaves the door unlocked, because this is the only thing that I have a little bit of an issue with the pacing and the writing. Is she's with Godolkin when he's attacking the students, and he tells her this plan, and she says, no, that's not the plan. And he's like, well, no, this is my new plan of what I'm going to do. And what he's basically telling her is I'm leveling myself up. I'm using my own plan of evolving as a superhero so that I can control Marie, and then I can control Homelander, and
then her saying, Yeah, have good luck with controlling Homelander with that.
Right. And then the next thing we know, she's walking away. She just walks away from him, and he doesn't call out after her. The
Nope.
next thing we see him, he's asking Vance, when's the next group of students coming in? And then she goes to Polarity. I'm just like, didn't he think, he was so egomaniacal at that point, so arrogant that he didn't think she could mess up his plans at all. And that's exactly what she does. I mean, she going and releasing Polarity ends up messing up his whole plan.
It does. Which shows Annabeth's precog ability doesn't really work 100%.
Well, no, all she saw was
Marie bathed in blood.
Yeah, she didn't know where the blood came from. So it's not that her precog is wrong. Her precog,
it's just vague.
She just doesn't. It's vague and she doesn't understand it. It's not specific. She needs to learn, and this is where I think we may or may not see. I don't know. See how she's going to hone her abilities, and she's going to find a way to get her abilities better and better. I don't know. We'll see. It's just one of those things I thought was interesting. We see Sister Sage. I had this in my notes to where she refuses that call from Homelander. And I really am hoping that at some point in the boys, we get some statement from Homelander going, "Hey, you didn't answer my call."
A flashback of that where he's at a moment where he's in the middle of a conversation,
right,
saying, "Hey, I need to call about this," because he sees it on a screen or something.
Well, yeah, because he sent out
reference.
Yeah, Godolkin sent out that message to the students.
Yeah.
And I love that line I have the line here from Sage, which says, "This is not the way to tell Homelander." Because remember, that was their whole conversation was, we've got to find a way to tell Homelander that you're back and what your powers are without him suspecting that you're going to try to take
tantrum.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And this is not the way to tell Homelander. I was just like, yeah, that's not the way you want to tell Homelander. So,
nope. Another one was really good scene, and this is very key to it. You mentioned it before. I mentioned it. This was something that you don't see it on screen, but Emma has a cool speech about everybody being effed up in that group, but they're family, loving one another, building trust. They're there together for each other. And it was so nice. And then she goes, she drops it. Well, I got to go drop a deuce. And then she leaves Marie and Kate alone. And they have this kind of understanding and reconciliation. And it gets to that point of trust. And you see her Marie holding her at some point, but you don't see the healing. I'm assuming
you do, because I think I'm trying to remember the exact course of events, because she doesn't heal Kate until after Kate refuses to. Yeah, this is later. So the first part of this whole thing happens is, and I think it does happen right there when she's holding Kate's hand, because what happened before that, if you remember, when they were on the quad. And when they get the message from Godolkin, they see the naked guy running through, saying that he's killing everyone.
That's later on.
No, that's because it's before she heals Kate, because this is important. The order of events is very important here, because this is the reason why I think she got her trust back for Kate. Was she tells Kate, "I'll heal you if you will make them all leave."
And she tells her she can't do that.
And
she
Kate
wouldn't
says,
do that.
"No,
yes.
I promised that I would never use my powers against us again." And then, and that's when Marie lifts him up and slams him on the ground, knocks him out, and then they leave to go back to the dorm room. And that's when Marie started to trust her. And it's then in the dorm room when she heals Kate. I think that's.
But we never see the hand. You ever noticed that? We never see the hand. She still has it in a glove, and it's like, when are we going to see?
No. Oh, you mean the hand? No, we see her holding her other hand, but I don't think she healed her hand. I don't think she brought her hand back. I think she just gave her powers back. I don't think she healed her hand.
I was under the assumption that she healed her hand and her powers.
That the hand grew back, like the hand. I don't know. I don't remember noticing if the hand grew back.
It didn't. It didn't. We didn't see anything. All I understood is that she healed her, but
Right.
I guess she
don't
just
think she
fixed
grew
her
the hand back.
powers.
Yeah, I think she
I
just
was
fixed her
assuming the
powers.
hand got healed.
Yeah, no, I think she just fixed her powers. I'd have to go back and watch it again to see if her hand if they show her hand, but I don't
They
think
never
so.
do.
That's what I'm saying is I don't think I don't think she regrew her hand. I don't
Well,
think that's possible. I don't think even with her powers, I don't think she can regrow a hand. That seems a little.
Do you remember when you always saw Godolkin? Did you ever see legs on Godolkin when he was all burnt and crispy and everything else in that pod? I don't remember seeing legs.
Again, I'd have to go back and rewatch it to see, but I know he had it because I think he had a full body. I think he was just burned all over his body, like Deadpool is burned all over his body.
Okay.
I think his legs are there. I don't think she regrew any of it. I mean, I'd have to go back and rewatch it and
That would
or
be a
listen
cool
to other
power,
podcasts
though.
about it. But I don't think she regrew her hand back or she regrew Godolkin's legs. I think he had legs. I think his legs just healed. I think they might have been burned really badly, and when she healed them, it looked like they were regrowing just because the flesh was getting
coming back
pink again
to normal.
To normal. But I have to rewatch it to see that part. But
and then
that is interesting. Again, I'm just glad that she did. I'm glad that we finally got to that point where she did bring Kate's powers back, and we see her use her powers there at the end when she convinces Vance to let them go into the thing. So we see that her powers are back, and that's what I don't remember now. Which hand did she touch his face with?
Kate.
Kate. Yeah, I think it was. I think she had the glove.
It was her left.
I think, but that's the hand that got that. That's the hand. No, she touched him with a bare hand. And I think it had to be
her left
right
hand is normal, and her right hand is.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was her left hand that was taken, and her right hand was normal. Okay, I'd have to. I don't think she regrew her hand back, but we definitely know she's got her powers back fully. Okay, and that's
all that matters. Yeah. She's able to do what she normally does, just like polarity. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think she's fully healed. She just doesn't have her hand. I don't think her hand regrew. But
that'd be a cool power to have, because it would show that she has a godlike tier as being a soup, like with Stormfront and everything. God forbid if she actually had to bring Stormfront back. It's like,
we'll have to see. Let's see, what else have I got here? I think we confirmed now, if we hadn't figured it out before, that Homelander and Marie are the only successful Odessa baby experiments. Yeah, they're the only ones that were prenatally given V. I think everybody else was given V after
after
they were born. Yeah, and had treatments of V. Unless Annabeth, I don't know, because I'm a little unclear about when Annabeth was treated, but we know for sure that Homelander and Marie got V in vitro. Okay, we know that for sure. We're not sure about Annabeth, because remember in the last episode we didn't talk about this, but she does talk about the fact that she had her powers before Marie's powers before Marie's powers manifested.
Correct.
So that's interesting that she had powers before even Marie's powers manifested.
And she was aware of it too, which is very
well. She didn't know. She thought they were just. Thought they were just nightmares.
She was a nightmare. Yep.
Right. It was just nightmares until Marie's powers manifested, and then she realized that the nightmares she was having was what
the true vision of whatever.
The true vision of what happened to her parents. So it's possible that Annabeth might have been. I don't know. We just don't know.
Then we got Jordan breaking up with Marie, which was
I had that in my notes.
It's really sad, because it's like you knew it was going to happen, because it's like Marie was destined for something else, but it kind of comes and goes very fast, and I think it had to do with the pattern of writing. Now, mind you, if you look at the time for both episodes, this finale episode was 45 minutes or so.
I was gonna say they were fairly short. They weren't.
And then the seventh one was about maybe 38 minutes.
Yeah, they were
So-
both very short as
Yeah.
compared to some of the others in the season. So yeah, that's a scene that got cut short because of the naked guy running across
Yes.
the quad, announcing that Godolkin was killing all the other
Mhm.
students. So I don't know if we're going to get another conversation about that, or if the last thing we're left with is Jordan saying basically "I still want to be friends" speech.
Correct. Yeah, that speech
Which
that
is
nobody ever wants to
that
hear.
speech that nobody ever wants to hear. Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that speech. So yeah, I had that in my notes that the Jordan breaking up with Marie, I thought was I don't know. I guess you kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, I thought they were going to work their way through it. Because in what was it, 2 or 3 episodes ago, Jordan said something about you don't fall in love with the first person you have sex with, or something like that, and then they try to break up with her, and then they got back together, and so it'll be interesting to see when we pick up the boys, and I do love that this really does set up for the boys, final season. I had totally forgotten. I want before we forget. I do not want to miss saying this because we kind of covered it earlier when I talked about Sister Sage releasing Polarity, but I had totally forgotten that Polarity was the one that busts in and breaks Godolkin's concentration over Marie. Like I was I'm watching it going, because it's been a couple of weeks since I watched these episodes. So watching them again today, I was almost, I still remember, I knew how it ended. I knew where it ended. I just didn't know how they got there necessarily.
And it showed how weak his powers are too, for the fact that he could be distracted or anything. And it came to his mind just before then that because he could control so many of these students that he could actually control Homelander and yes, Marie. So that kind of was a little bit foreshadowing of the scene. But then Polarity at that point, even when and Sister Sage says it at one point to Polarity, she goes, "You were stronger when you were at your weakest." Meaning that when he was hurting, he was stronger in her mind. But in this case, he comes in at the middle of the fight where Godolkin's at that point trying to stop them all, having them all attack each other. Sam attacking.
Well, he walks in after Godolkin. So I think here's what I think happened. Here's what I think. I think it took all of Godolkin. Like Godolkin was controlling more than more than 2 people. He was controlling all of them.
He never had done that before with the first set of kids. Yeah.
But when Harper took his power and she released all of them, they were released, and then he got Marie. And once he got Marie, he didn't need
he got healed again.
Well, no. He got Marie's when he got into Marie's head. Okay, he didn't need the other kids because he had Marie. And I also think because of Marie, how powerful she is, he had to spend all of his concentration on just her. Yeah. Like, I don't think he was able to control the others at that point. So when Polarity comes in, he's only concentrating on just Marie. And that's why Polarity was able to, I think, break his concentration. And then because it was a thing that for me, it was when Harper took his power and she released all the kids and Marie walks up to him and she's just staring at him. I'm sitting there going, pop his head. What are you doing? Why are you just, you've only got like 30 seconds at this point before he loses and then of course he takes her over. And at that point I had forgotten about Polarity. So then when Polarity comes in, it was really cool when Polarity comes in, knocks him loose, and Marie gets her power, gets herself back, that she doesn't hesitate. She just walks up to him and pops his head, and she's like, that's for Andre. So,
yep.
I love that she didn't hesitate at that point, because
and she looked at Polarity at that point and stating that was for Andre. So she made it a point. And that the whole fight scene, even the fight scene with the other students, was very, very intense. But the fact is, you got the one girl with the Medusa style pubic hair attacking him, and then the one girl who was able to get into and control his mind too.
Right. Which she said, I've got his power. I'm in his head. And she's like, and then all of them are speaking.
Everybody else is saying the same thing, like a hive mind.
And that's when Emma's like, well, stop controlling them. And she's like, oh, so they all kind of drop. So I thought that was really cool. yeah, it was a really cool, really great ending. And like I said, the way the again, you reminding me what the title is all about, the Trojan horse of all of them being in his butt. I had I totally escaped that
That
comparison there.
reference.
So yeah, so when they started coming out of his butt, I was like, oh, they're all coming out of his butt. And then you reminded me the Trojan horse. He's the Trojan horse. So
Yep.
it was great. Like again, like I mentioned earlier, it was great to see all of these superheroes that have been told by Godolkin that, oh, you're
Not
low
going to
on the
achieve
totem
anything.
pole.
It's
Yeah,
like a
you're
teacher
low on the
telling
totem.
you you'll never amount to anything. What are you
Right.
going to do with your life, kid?
Exactly. So I thought that was really cool. I love the cameos at the end. I love Starlight and A Train
A-Train. Yep.
coming back. And I loved when it's Starlight, and what is it? Marie says, oh, she likes to be called Annie.
Yep.
I thought that was a great way of it. And A Train going, what are y'all standing out here in the open for?
We gotta go.
We gotta get out of here.
But as that happens too, listeners, there's a needle drop too from 9 Inch Nails, and that's the hand that feeds is playing too. So if you want to get that on your soundtrack or your Spotify playlist, that's it. And it's so pretty cool because kind of leads into, but they were there to look for Stan Edgar, and that's why they were driving that way. So that Stan Edgar is probably going to make a comeback for the boys too. So
yeah, you would think. I'm not sure how he's going to play into the boys. It's we're going to be interesting to see.
Oh, I'm sure they got Giancarlo Esposito under contract.
They have to bring him back. So yeah, Starlight saying, "Oh, we did a grid search over 200 miles and we found you guys because you're standing out in the open." So yeah, I thought that was really cool. Again, and it just playing right into what we're going to get for the boys next season.
Yeah.
That's all I have for
the same here for me.
Quotes.
I used up a lot of quotes that I had.
Yeah, I'm going to drop a deuce and we're going to figure it out. I had that in my notes. I thought that was funny for Emma to say that. I love the whole threesome line. Oh, we're one step away from a threesome. Emma
always going the extra mile. Yep.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see these characters again. I'm very excited that they're being brought into the boys' final season, and I'm excited. I'm probably more excited for the boys' final season than I have been previously. The last season I was a little disappointed because it went way over the top, in my opinion, in some scenes, and we talked about that when we covered the boys. But I'm really looking forward to the next season and what they're going to do with it. The actors that have been, I don't want to spoil anything, but the actors that have been leaked as being part of that final season. I'm excited. Yes. I'm excited to see what Eric Kripke and his crew are going to do for us. So
I'm sure this season is going to be more centered and focused on the soups themselves. The whole difference of being and then having everybody who's a normal, like anybody that was put with Gen V or something. Hence why I was looking forward to be continued in the boys season.
Yeah, I wish they'd given us a card like that, but that's okay.
It would have been nice.
Would have been nice. I watched it all the way to the end. I fast forwarded as much of the credits as I could to see if there was anything like that, like an end card saying, that
I was anticipating to see Homelander at least at the end.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that they didn't at least have like even just having a cameo of him making the phone call to Sister Sage and her rejecting it, him going, "What is she doing? Not taking my call," or something like that.
An outtake or something. Like
that. Would have been kind of cool. But we'll see what the final season of the boys brings us. So
same here. I think I'm finished with my stuff. You're finished with your stuff on that. So I think that kind of about wraps it up for the last two episodes of Gen V season 2 for us for this podcast. As we always go through, now we're going to go into a little bit of comic news, things that have happened. Obviously, a lot of things have happened, but we're only going to breeze through a few things that we have. So the new teaser trailer or leaked teaser trailers for Marvel Avengers Doomsday had come out over the past number of weeks. And these are little snippets. You had the first one was like Steve Rogers. The second one was
I thought that's interesting too. The way they worded that, the way Marvel released it, is they said Steve Rogers will return. They did not say Captain America. They said Steve Rogers will be in Avengers Doomsday. So I thought that was interesting. So we'll see what that
so
means.
we'll see what we get out of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have to realize, people, this is a multiversal thing.
Mhm.
So
So
we
knows?
got a Steve Rogers like leaked trailer clip. You got the X-Men leaked trailer clip. We had a Wakanda or Black Panther one with a Fantastic Four one. There's a few of them. There was like a total of 4 or 5. And each has its own independent. They don't give away too much, but there's more and more stuff being put online. But I just watched them as they came out for, because I'd rather watch those because those are more accurate than the other stuff I've been seeing. And I'm like, I don't want to really.
But the only 2 official ones, right? The only official ones have been the Steve Rogers one and the Thor one. Those are the only official Marvel ones. The rest are
that
we're
they
not
put
sure.
on Marvel's YouTube channel. So you could go to the actual Marvel Entertainment YouTube channel and you could see those, everybody. But everything else is on secondary. But they were also on the secondary and third party ones that were out there too. So I have a funny feeling we're going to get those more as time comes on, because this movie is definitely coming out. And I think it's the summer of 2026.
No, I think it's December, brother. I believe.
Okay.
I think it's December. I think we've got to wait almost a whole year for this movie.
So they're dragging it out because Marvel is trying to do the right thing and due diligence with not putting out too much content because they've already overflooded it, and we've learned that in the past.
I wish it was going to be a summer. I wish it was going to be a summer release, but I think I saw.
I'm pretty sure you're right. And it's going to be a December one, which is fine unless they move it up and they get all the other stuff done.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
But speaking about Marvel and how they overflooded it, and we all remember the Disney Plus stuff that came out back in the day during the pandemic, and then we just kept getting more and more and more. And there were like certain shows that did well and some that didn't. We've waited a long time for this one to come out, and next that we're going to be covering here on this particular podcast will be Wonderman, which comes out on January 27th. So look forward for Steve and I to be covering that. I look forward to it. It's a new take on Wonderman. He's not that typical white guy with a weird looking jacket with the sunglasses. You got a cool black man playing the lead. And we also have Trevor coming back from
December 18th.
Iron Man.
December 18th, 2026. I just Googled it because I wanted to see what it was. That's the official release date right now. The official release date for Avengers Doomsday is December 18th, 2026. Awesome. So
yeah.
But I'm excited for Wonder Man. It looks, I don't know anything about, I'll be honest, I don't remember anything about this character from the comics. At all. Like, I don't have any clue who this is or who this guy was.
Oh, he showed up. He was more prominent in the West Coast Avengers back in the day. I haven't he's super powered. He has since amazing strength. He's impenetrable. Think of Superman, who doesn't. Well, he does fly. This guy apparently in the comics, but who knows what they do in the show? Who knows?
Yeah, but, like I said, I really haven't followed comics religiously since I was a teenager. So, no clue.
It's pretty cool. The fact we get Ben Kingsley back as Trevor Slattery, who we know who is playing the Mandarin, the first version of the Mandarin, the fake Mandarin in Iron Man. What was it, 2? So I'm glad we get to see Ben Kingsley come back, reprise that role. He's kind of goofy. I think he plays Wonder Man's mentor within this for acting and everything. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. I love Ben Kingsley when he is funny, because he's a great actor overall, but dramatically, but I love it when he plays comedic roles. Next up, this came out literally within the past 10 to 15 hours. Blade has been officially canceled by Marvel. So the movie Blade that they were looking to cover, I don't know if it was the one with Wesley Snipes or the one with Mahershala Ali. I'm assuming both, and then they'll just bring them both in at some point, probably within the Marvel Cinematic Universe at some point, making cameos and just gliding them in. Who knows if we get them in another movie or maybe a Disney Plus Marvel show. So I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to see Wesley Snipes come back as Blade and have Mahershala actually play Blade too, because you had a multiverse thing.
Sure.
So, but yeah, that's about it. That sums that up. I over the holiday wound up getting the trade paperback Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe on trade paperback from the comics run. I'm currently reading that. I'm gearing up to do Monarch, just to do a little plug. But I'm not sure if it's going to be on Wilhelm combination. We don't know, but I'm looking to cover that eventually. I got to talk to Mr. Ben Beck on Wilhelm. With that, we're going to move right along into podcast recommendations. So, Steve, do you have any?
Sure. Yeah. The Traders US. The Traders is a Peacock original reality show. It came back. It's had there's multiple overseas versions of the Traders. I've watched them all. I love them. I think they're great. But the Traders US came back, and one of the contestants on there, I don't want to spoil anything, Rob Cisternino was on there, and they do a podcast about the Traders. So I just would recommend, if you're a fan of reality TV like I am, if you're a fan of Rob Cisternino from Survivor or from his podcast stuff, Rob has a podcast website, check it out, because the Traders US, it's back.
All right. I only have a couple. One would be for one that's on our very own network, Pyrocore Entertainment. That would be Becky and Mandy on What's On Tonight, as they're covering the new season of The Pit. So season 2 literally just dropped on Thursday the 8th. So for those of you who have not watched it, binge watch season 1. It's available on HBO Max. So you could easily just go there and watch the first season and go right into season 2. So I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say. They just posted something recently. So by the time you get this, it'll probably be Sunday the 11th. So hopefully they haven't recorded yet. Maybe you could binge it and just watch it and get it in by the midweek. And then they'll record and they'll get the episode up. Also, Strange Indeed. I don't know if they finalized their coverage with Stranger Things.
They dropped the chapter 8, the right side up, just dropped today or yesterday. I just saw it come up in my podcast feed either today or yesterday. So they've dropped their final, the final Stranger Things episode. Strange Indeed has dropped their coverage of it. So don't know where they're going to go from here, what Strange Indeed is going to do, but it's the podcast is out.
Awesome. So check that out if you're a Stranger Things fan, and follow Rima and Paik as they cover that. Also, you could check out, and it's also on Podcastica. So a lot of our friends are on podcastica.com. So literally go out there, run for your lives. Still slaying a Buffyverse podcast. Penny's still going on with the seasons of Buffy. She just put out one recently, I noticed, within the past week. So I got to catch up and give them a listen and give them some love, as well as TV podcast industries. So let our friends get some plugs out there as well. With that, you could hear me, as always, here on Panels to Pixels podcast, Adrenaline Cinema podcast, or the Pyrocore Entertainment podcast. All you have to do is go to pyrocoreentertainment.com. You'll get all your links, and that's about it for me. What about you, Steve?
Yeah, I'm not done a lot lately. I've took a few weeks off with the holidays and everything, but I'm back going strong, sending voicemails to some of our friends out there. The cast of us is still doing their rewatch of The Walking Dead, so that's going on. I'm sending them voicemails. You can hear my voice there. I sent some voicemails into Still Slaying as well, so hopefully you'll hear my voice there. And of course, right here on Panels to Pixels, you can always hear me when we cover something.
Awesome. Like I said, for you to submit any feedback, just go to pyrocoreentertainment.com. All the links are there for all the podcasts that I'm on, especially this one, Panels to Pixels podcast. Just follow them. You'll have our email. You'll have where we can be found and be heard. Just go there. Obviously, with Spotify and Apple Podcasts, there's going to be a rating review. Please give us a review. And that's all that we ask you to do. So I just want to thank everyone for listening. I'm Mark.
I'm still Steve. Okay.
And same podcast, different panel, different pixel. This was Panels to Pixels podcast, and we'll see you guys on the next panel. Bye bye.
Oh, good night. Good night, everybody. We're just having fun. Oh.